Welcome to Owning a Piece of America. I'm Faith Bautista. Today, my guest is Shin Koyamada of The Last Samurai, fame with Tom Cruise. Shin graciously relates for us his journey in America up to his present-day foundation initiatives here and in Japan.
Since I was a kid, I always wanted to pursue my dream in the United States in acting industry. My father was very interested in American movies and I grew up watching it besides my dad. By the time I graduated from junior high school, I knew that I have to be out of Japan and pursue my acting career. Hollywood is the capital of entertainment industry, so why not just go in and try myself? What would I need to do in order to become a successful action star in the United States? So what I did was to find a high school where I could learn backflips, back handspring, gymnastics. I knew I had to do martial arts because I had never done martial arts until I got into high school. My grandmother told me before I moved to the United States. United States is a place where if you have extraordinary ability, you're gonna be found and recognized. I moved to the United States alone. I stayed in homestay for a month and a half, and I stayed in this Hispanic family, and I didn't know that Spanish existed in the United States before I came. I thought everybody speaks English. And I turned on the TV and I was blown away. Wait, I know this is not English. What language is this? And it was a Dragon Ball Z and a Pokemon in Spanish. And then that was my first cultural experience in Los Angeles at the homestay family. I signed up for Shaolin Kung Fu School, training every single day. I became so good, and my classmate says, why don't you go to a national tournament in the United States? I said, why not? So I signed up after 6 months of training, and I won the tournament. And they said, wow, why don't you try another one, the national tournament? And I went to the Vegas, I won. I went to the San Diego national tournament, I won. I was competing against this Chinese grandmaster from China. They thought I was Chinese. And I said, no, I'm from Japan. They were like, there was a pause. You're not Chinese. Why are you studying Shaolin Kung Fu? I love Kung Fu. I mean, I grew up with Jackie Chan. I grew up with the Hong Kong movies. I always wanted to study Kung Fu. My first audition was Apple Computer. That was my first audition, I got it. My second audition was Disneyland, and I got it. The third audition was JCPenney, and I got it. They were like, Shin, how are you getting this national commercials? You don't speak English. I was like, no, I just smile, and they just book me. Well, it's working, so just keep laughing and smiling at the casting calls. And I found this casting online, it says The Last Samurai, starring Tom Cruise. My casting director, Vicky Thomas, was so amazed. So I got a call back, and Vicky was like, why don't you come to Warner Brothers Studios? It was a meeting with the producers from The Last Samurai. I didn't know. So I did my scene, and they loved it. So they said, are you available to go to Japan in 2 months? I said, yeah, I'm available. I didn't know how big the movie was. I knew Tom Cruise, but I didn't know how big the scale was at the time. I called my mom. I got my role in The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise. My mom's like, are you still trying? Are you still dreaming? You know what she did? She just hung up my phone. I was like, she just couldn't believe. To prove that, when I was filming in Japan, I invited my grandparents, my dad, my mom, my uncle to the set. They just couldn't believe what they were watching, especially my dad being a huge fan of American movies, especially Tom Cruise. You know, people ask me, you didn't get nervous in big movies like that? I didn't get nervous about anything. People looking at me, the camera, because I was surrounded by that through my martial arts tournaments. Maybe that really helped out. I'm really thankful for The Last Samurai cast, crew. That was my first movie ever. That opened a door for me for the rest of my life. And after The Last Samurai, a Disney Channel movie. It was the first, I think, Asian stars-led movie that Disney Channel has ever done. That was my dream, to do that Jackie Chan type of movie. I was able to show off what I learned in karate and Shaolin Kung Fu throughout the movie, from the beginning to the end. Since 2005, I've been behind the camera, producing lots of content.
Stay tuned, more of Shin Koyamada coming up.
Don't think too much. Don't think too much in the beginning. Just give a try and see how things go, and then figure out on your way. My advice to people who are thinking of pursuing their dreams in the United States, Hollywood, or elsewhere will be follow your instinct. That's something I stood by. It's gonna be challenging on your way to achieving your dreams. So whenever I do things in my life, I always question myself, is this what my instinct tells me? I just take actions. Don't think too much. Don't think too much in the beginning. Just give a try and see how things go, and then figure out on your way. Another thing I did was to plan my life. I sat on my desk every night. I took a piece of paper, made actually a list of things that I need to do, and making sure next day you achieve all the list of things you need to achieve. Make sure you achieve everything. I just didn't come to Los Angeles to have fun. I came here to achieve my dream. Everyone is different. But if you feel that you're lost, if you feel you're not sure, making sure you just sit down and have the time to talk to yourself, think about why you came or you're thinking about moving to another country to begin with. That's your reminder and a motivation whenever you feel you're lost. So that's what I would advise for newcomers. So I like to talk about why I started my foundation called Koyamada International Foundation, simply KIF, K-I-F. I didn't think I was going to be involved in any charities, but after The Last Samurai, my manager said, why don't you get involved in charity? My first volunteer work was after-school program at the Boys and Girls Club of America in Burbank, I think. I was teaching Kung Fu to kids. That's how I started. In 2005, I started flying to Houston to meet these middle school kids. What they do, it was amazing, taking kids out of the streets and put them in the middle school in martial arts schools and train them through martial arts. I love the program. And it was an amazing opportunity to get to know how nonprofit works. My wife and our friends told me, why don't we start our nonprofit to expand our activities? That's the birth of Koyamada International Foundation. Our first program was basically helping homeless in downtown LA near Skid Row. Then we got more involved. We started doing the US Martial Arts Festival. In 2011, Japan had horrible East Japan earthquake and tsunami disaster. We started gathering relief goods and items and started organizing fundraising events in LA with our friends from Hollywood. We raised substantial donations from Los Angeles community, donated 100% to victims through prefectural governments in Japan that had been affected by the disaster. So it took us about a year. So that's how we started our actually first national chapter in Japan, KIF Japan. I got contact from people in Africa that they wanted to start our chapters in Africa. So we started our chapters in Africa, in Kenya. Other program we do is women's empowerment. My wife is an advocate and public speaker for women's empowerment and leadership. So she's been speaking to Japanese women in Japan through KIF Japan, and she had been invited by the UN agency and the permanent mission to the United States from Colombia to speak before Women's Leader at the United Nations in New York. So that was part of our women's empowerment program through KIF, Koyamada International Foundation. We signed a historic Memorandum of Understanding MOU with the head of UNFPA to start a new program, Guardian Girls. It's a gender-based violence prevention program through sports and martial arts. And martial arts, as you know, it benefits a lot, not only physical part, but mentally, spiritually. It helped me a lot in my daily life. So that's our approach in Guardian Girls. We launched this program October 2022. We plan to do this Guardian Girls program in 2023 alone, starting from Egypt. The next one is going to be Spain. After that, it's going to be in Morocco, Japan, Ireland, and Hungary. This is an amazing opportunity for all of us, and now we're talking to the City of LA to benefit, to continue our efforts on Guardian Girls Gender-Based Violence Prevention Program. Now we talk about youth leadership program, the women's empowerment program, educational program, cross-cultural programs, and now we added space program. So we have 6 main core programs under KIF that we are action-oriented organization. So we are all about taking action and making a big difference around the world through our programs with our partners. Thank you.
What a wonderful story that was. Thank you, Shin, for sharing it with me and our viewers. Don't go away. Our Yasmin Tanres will be joined by America's favorite dermatologist. Stay tuned.
50+ years old is the new hot 30s. I got to visit one of Hollywood's most sought-after dermatologists, Dr. Tess Mauricio, who had recently caught Khloe Kardashian's tumor on her face. She shared with me some of the latest skin treatments and her journey of becoming an internationally recognized cosmetic surgeon. So Dr. Tess, you do everything from skin treatment to hair growth to regenerative technology. It's no wonder that so many celebrities come to you, like Paula Abdul and the Black Eyed Peas. Talk to us a little bit more as to what M Beauty Clinic offers here.
Well, you know, my celebrity patients and patients who come see us at M Beauty Clinic, they really love the fact that we are able to do natural anti-aging treatments. So we're just encouraging the body to naturally heal, repair, and regenerate. And so, you know, they always look natural, which is very, very important. But we really are reversing the aging of the skin. So it's a permanent reverse of aging. Many patients who come from all over the world come here to our Beverly Hills office or our San Diego office, have the time machine procedure done, and they just see their aging reverse, sort of like Benjamin Button.
Wow, that's what we all need.
Exactly, exactly.
The secret's right here.
The secret's here, and I practice what I preach, and so I'm really, you know, proud to say that I see it when I look in the mirror as well. And it's really not about vanity. It's about really boosting your own confidence. And you know, people respond differently to us, and especially those who do work in front of the camera. I think it's very important that, you know, they always look their best, but more importantly, feel their best.
So Dr. Tess, you're going to be working on Mark Anthony here.
Yes.
What are you getting done today?
He doesn't even know because whatever I say, he does.
Yes.
But Mark has been a patient of mine and a dear friend for over a decade.
Yes.
Right?
That is
and
correct.
everybody comments on how flawless he looks.
Yeah.
And I do take credit for some of it. I said part of it's genetics. But you know, he's getting up there as well, and so what we have done over the years, and Mark has tried basically everything that we offer at M Beauty Clinic.
Exactly.
You've had the time machine procedure, Rockstar, Jeuveau,
Softwave.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like a whole library.
Yeah, this is. He's had it all.
I did.
And that's why he's flawless. But today, Mark is actually going to try the Pixel Lift. So this will deploy needles under the skin up to 3 millimeters and then deliver radio frequency for tightening and also for shaping.
Everywhere I go, everyone's like, oh my God, why do you look so good? And I said, because Dr. Tess is the best.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I had to take a minute in the hot seat and see what the buzz was all about with celeb's new favorite, rockstar treatment.
So these, celebrity secrets where there's no downtime, but they really are really effective treatments. There's good science behind this treatment. The cool thing about the Rockstar treatment is the instant improvement, no downtime, and then continued improvement over time.
Wow.
Yeah, so okay, take a look now. I finished both sides.
So lifted.
Yes.
So lifted. Wow. No lines.
Right. It looks amazing. You can see that the shaping, plumping, improvement of your pores.
Plumping, yeah.
Yes. And it's very, very natural. You don't look like, you don't look different. You just look like
Not
a
at
fresher,
I look more alive.
healthier, alive. Exactly.
At what point, because you see my skin, for instance, and full of freckles and beauty spots and moles and whatnot, like at what point should people actually come see a dermatologist like yourself?
Yeah, so that's a good point, and something that I sometimes worry about, because a lot of skin treatments are not being done in dermatologists' offices now, is that, how do you know when a bump is just a benign bump or a mole or freckle is benign? And, if you have anything new, changing, and obviously if you have a bump that's been there for over a month, it really should be seen by a board-certified dermatologist. And that is what happened with Khloe. Khloe Kardashian, revealed that there was a spot that was on her cheek for a few months. And luckily, I was able to take a look at it. And luckily, she listened, and we did the biopsy. And so she had to have surgery for that spot. And so the key is, like I said, dermatologists were trained to really take a look at something. If we're not sure exactly what it is, then we can do the biopsy right there, and then the tissue will be looked at under the microscope, and then we can determine whether it's benign, it's something to worry about, has to be removed like Khloe, or if it's a skin cancer.
Don't go anywhere, because when we're back, you'll learn more about Dr. Tess Mauricio and her journey into the industry. Now, Dr. Tess Mauricio, before you became known as America's favorite dermatologist, take us back to your beginnings, having that Filipino heritage. What got you into beauty as well?
Well, so my family immigrated from the Philippines in 1984, and I was 12 years old, oldest of 4 kids, and just like any immigrant family, we had very humble beginnings. And I really felt like, I really needed to do something to help the family get out of poverty and kind of like, make my parents' sacrifice of moving to the United States worth it. And I was very fortunate, I was good at school, and so I was able to graduate valedictorian, graduate summa cum laude from UC San Diego, and then ended up at Stanford Medical School. And then I did a rotation in dermatology, and then I found that, when you help someone with their skin, whether it's a teenager, inflicted with acne, who's super shy, not talking to you, hiding their face with their hair, a hoodie, and then you treat their skin, and then suddenly this teenager becomes more outgoing and dating and happy. And I'm like, gosh, this is such an amazing way for me to affect and improve someone's psychological well-being by helping them with tools that we as dermatologists have now, incredible tools to help them with their skin. And so I always tell people with beauty, it's really not about vanity. It's really about, helping my patients love the skin that they're in and helping them live their best life.
How were you able to make such a name for yourself in the industry? Because there are so many doctors, estheticians, people in the beauty industry, and it's very competitive. So how were you able to stand out?
Being Filipino, when I was at Stanford Medical School, I was the only Filipina there. And many times in the medical field, in my profession, even though, the majority of the patients that we serve are female, it's still very much run by men, and usually white men. And so many times I'll go to conferences and they assume Dr. Mauricio is a man. And so I think that's, first thing is that one, we really have to work. I really had to work very, very hard to prove my worth, my abilities, and really my passion to really help improve and impact my patients' lives. And also I feel like, media is so powerful in really educating and inspiring. And so I had the chance to work on Rachel Ray to introduce a brand new technology, a radio frequency technology. And the company asked me to be the doctor to treat Rachel Ray on her show. And that was really the beginning of kind of my love affair with the media. And it worked out, and I did it just being myself, and the producers liked what I was able to do. Rachel found that it was fun, and so that started it. And then from that point on, I really worked a lot with media, and then I truly believed in it. I even started my own TV show.
You had 6 seasons, in fact. Tell us more about that.
So actually, because I am a believer in the power of media, I felt like, growing up for me and my kids, it's really hard to find representation. And so I decided I had this opportunity to produce my own TV show based on my life. And so first there was the Dr. Tess show on GMA Pinoy TV, which is one of the biggest global network for Filipinos. And so it's been 10 years that we've been creating content, and it's so rewarding because I do have little girls who now older, a teenager, and even college years now, that come up to me and say, "Hey, Dr. Tess, I watch you with my Lola, I watch you with my, my aunt, my mom," and I was really inspired to go into medicine, to go into the healthcare field because I got to see you.
According to Zipia's research, the most common ethnicity of skincare specialists in the US is white at 63.3%, compared with Asians that make up 8.7%. Dr. Tess Mauricio has notably made a name for herself in the industry and continues to impact her community. You can find out more about Dr. Mauricio's work on mbeautyclinic.com.
Thank you for joining me and Yasmin on this episode of Owning a Piece of America. I'm Faith Bautista. Take your piece.